Hot Roster today. I'm Gary Thorne. That is Cam Stewart. And Cam, we are 1 day away from week 9 of the NFL season.
Flying by. Soon the playoffs.
Yeah, soon the playoffs. Soon the fantasy playoffs. The fantasy playoffs are right around the corner. And the remaining length of the season actually has a lot to do with our first topic in the Big Four today, this afternoon. Jamal Charles has been placed on the IR.
This personally hurts.
Generally expected. I mean, we mentioned it for baseball a lot, but Dr. James Andrews, never good. You never want to hear his name in any context for a player you own in fantasy. He's going to go on IR after requiring another knee surgery. The specifications on that knee surgery, are not yet known, but he's going to be placed on the IR, which means he's out a minimum of 8 weeks, which means the closest game that he could return is Week 17. So for fantasy purposes,
doesn't matter.
Does not matter. Jamal Charles is gone. Cut this guy. Is it going to be parting in such sweet sorrow, Cam?
It is. It is sweet sorrow. I can't believe I paid $30 for this guy in my auction league, right? And the thing is, Kansas City's really handled the situation kind of poorly, I think, too, because we assumed for him to get back, but I don't think the people didn't know the extent of really how bad it is. And I have to admit, Garion, it's been a great career for Jamal Charles. He was an absolute beast in fantasy for years, but sayonara. The party's over because you can't keep on having it's surgically repaired and it keeps on coming back and back and back. And you know the wear and tear of a football season. He can't play again. He wants to be able to walk when he's done. So I have to believe this is the end of the line for a great back and great collegiate back too.
And it's funny because I wasn't expecting a second surgery because the way this was sold in the preseason in the first couple weeks that he wasn't playing was it was more psychological.
Exactly.
He needs to take the contact, needs to be able to trust his knees again and stuff like that. It didn't seem like it was a physical, tangible injury, but now we know it was.
It's brutal.
You mentioned the very important thing here, though. I mean, we could have a discussion about who's the more valuable back in the KC backfield this week. And again, Spencer Ware, we don't know where he is in the concussion protocol right now. There really hasn't been an update.
I got to believe this, Garion, too. It's one of those things, I don't want to speculate, but if a guy like Jordan Reed, who has had concussions his whole career, I know each individual case is different, but he goes out in London and plays really, really well. Spencer Ware is a young guy. I have to believe this is just kind of a hurdle, and he'll get over it because football's such a rough game. You're going to get concussions. I'm just saying, though, he hasn't had a guy that has a history of concussions.
Yeah, and I think he'll be fine going forward. But I think that we talked yesterday about Charkandrick West and if you would pick him up or not. I still think it's a very good possibility that Charkandrick West will be the lead back this weekend. But if you want to take this forward to not even just the rest of this season, but Spencer Ware's value going forward in dynasty formats and in keeper leagues, because right now Jamal Charles, even though he is under contract next season in Kansas City, all the guaranteed money is off the books.
If you have Spencer Ware in keeper leagues, you must be salivating even with this news, because I got to believe people still assume Jamal Charles would have a couple more years left in him. Now you're getting a back who's at a cheaper price, and now he's going to be your lead back in Kansas City. And what do the Kansas City Chiefs do? Run the ball.
Exactly, under Andy Reid. And I would be shocked if Jamal Charles was backed with the Chiefs next season. So it seems like Spencer Ware.
We like West, though, right? At averaging, even
West
in the other games, 6 yards
this week
a carry.
is fine.
Yes.
It's completely fine.
I still think it's Ware's team, though.
I do, too. And I think that if you look at the numbers right now, 5.0 yards per carry, up over 18 yards per reception, I think it is Spencer Ware's team. But I think these two guys, they're different enough to each have roles on the team.
Good call.
I don't think it's going to be like a situation. It's not an offensive haven like Atlanta. Like you can't have two running backs like Coleman and Freeman both be fantasy viable.
Exactly.
But Ware's the guy you're going to want to start on a regular week basis when both are healthy.
Out of the pie, I think Ware gets the bigger chunk.
I would agree with that statement. Now let's move on to some more injury news, Cam. Ben Roethlisberger. Mike Tomlin says he could play this week at Baltimore. That's the most definitive news we've heard from the organization about this topic. We knew Roethlisberger practiced on Monday, and that was obviously very good news. Tomlin also called that a positive sign. The question now becomes if Roethlisberger does play, because I feel like you and I are probably on the same page here. When Roethlisberger is given even the smallest crease, the smallest opportunity to play,
you play him.
He's going to play. Yeah. Like, Roethlisberger has a very strong mental capacity. He's played through a lot of injury before, but this is a weird spot for Roethlisberger because, A, the Steelers have never played as well, at least recently. Even if you want to take it back as far as 3 years, they always play better at Heinz than they play on the road. This game is on the road, but also on the road at Baltimore, where Ben Roethlisberger in his career has never been a top 12 quarterback in Baltimore. That's
interesting because you look at the numbers, Gary, in 6 games, he's played 1,685 yards, 16 touchdowns to 6 picks in a limited role because he was hurt. The one issue that I have, and that's a great stat in Baltimore, but when you're a caliber of Big Ben, I saw Landry Jones play. Sure, the numbers are okay. You saw what did he throw for? 281, a touchdown and a pick. That was also against the Patriots.
That's fine, yeah.
But the issue that I had was there were many opportunities in the red zone where they didn't put up the touchdowns where Ben Roethlisberger did. And that's the difference between winning and losing. I'm sorry. I know it says don't start him in Baltimore. I think Big Ben's too good. I put him in there.
I have a hard time sitting him on a week-to-week basis. I get that. But you look at some of these stats, Cam, and I'm not to say their offense is bad on the road. This is sort of the old school version of the Saints at home versus the Saints on the road. Their offense wasn't bad on the road, just so much better at home. This season, in the 6 games, Roethlisberger has started 32.7 points at home, 18.7 points as a team on the road. That's 2 full touchdowns, Cam.
That's a big discrepancy.
You go back to last season at home, Pittsburgh averaged 34.1 points. On the road, 22.3 points. Like, this is a massive thing that has happened. And if it's in Baltimore where he hasn't been good, Baltimore this season too, the best drive success rate for opponents, or the lowest drive success rate for opponents.
Which is actually shocking when you think about it.
They've had a pretty good defense, and they're doing well in the red zone as well. I think I'm sitting Ben this week. I'd play, like we talked about Kaepernick yesterday at the Saints. I think I'd take him over Roethlisberger.
Wow.
Sam Bradford with his new offensive coordinator, Pat Shermer, back in the fold. I'd take him against Detroit.
Yeah, well, Bradford against Detroit, that's the thing. In Detroit, you start Bradford. In Minnesota, they're going to be in ill will after a couple horrible games. I could see the Vikings absolutely and they're great at home, too. Bradford's numbers at home are way better than on the road.
Yeah, so I think I would play those two guys. Roethlisberger's still a fringy top 12.
I still love Big Ben.
I can see people wanting to play him. I can see people wanting to play him.
What about Ladarius Green? That's the next. You're saying no?
No.
Does Jesse?
It's a flat no for me.
Does Jesse? I'm just saying.
If you're playing Ben and you want to play James is like a touchdown or bust guy. That's cool. Ladarius, if it was at home and Ben was healthy, like I knew he was healthy,
but on the road,
maybe I'd throw him out there. But this is a bad spot.
Okay.
I don't know what he's looking like. I'm gonna wait on Ladarius Green. If you thought that was complicated, Cam, let's talk about the Green Bay Packers running back situation right now. It is an absolute mess, and it was a mess last week in their game against Atlanta. Aaron Rodgers, the lead rusher on that team, and Mike McCarthy.
Give me some Ripkowski.
No, please don't. Please don't. It was a bad fantasy situation all around.
He did more than Don Jackson.
Yeah, so Don Jackson, Ripkowski. Niall Davis has been cut after being traded for. He was spent about 2 weeks on this roster. Ty Montgomery obviously had some sickle cell complications. He's confident he'll play week 9, so that is obviously important. And he seems like the clear-cut guy here.
I agree.
James Starks, they're saying the Niall Davis cut may mean he's close. Like 2 weeks ago, he was 4 weeks from being away. I can't see this guy playing.
Who cares? It's one of those situations with Starks, too. It's like, when Montgomery, that was a shocking injury, too, because we're thinking, wow, this Green Bay finally figured it out. Yeah. And it seemed like when Ty Montgomery went to that running back position, Aaron Rodgers had a bounce in his step, and his fantasy numbers over the last couple weeks have gone through the roof. And Montgomery, 104 and 126 total yards. It'd be nice if he threw in a touchdown. But when you look at Jackson, a fullback, basically, is it Johnny Kuhn? Is it Ripkowski? Yeah. And like, you look at Green Bay's situation, and I don't have any faith in Starks either. Yes, Montgomery is my guy moving forward.
100%. He's got to be the guy to own. And I think actually, like if you look at the way the Packers, I know they didn't win last week against Atlanta, but their offense has been so much better these last 2 weeks.
They played great in that game.
And all they do is drop back and pass. Let Aaron Rodgers throw the football. I know McCarthy went out and said we have to establish the run. Aaron Rodgers going to be blah, 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 blah. Your offense is better right now, just letting Rodgers do his thing. So I think Devontae Adams, his value, we've seen the targets go way up there.
The thing about the receivers, too, they're getting Janis in the mix. Other guys are catching the ball. Green Bay is one of those teams. It's just like there's so many guys you have to look at and go, wow, man. Yeah. But Montgomery is a guy, I think,
he's the guy.
Right down the stretch, he'll be the man.
He's the only running back I would trust. And against Indy, it's a pretty sweet matchup, too. They're actually 31st DVOA against running backs in the passing game. So if Montgomery can play, expect big numbers from Ty Montgomery. Another team that hemorrhages points to running backs is the New Orleans Saints, the most fantasy points to running backs on a per-week basis in a PPR. So Carlos Hyde wearing a non-contact jersey on Tuesday is not a great sign for Carlos Hyde owners who were promised he would only miss that one game heading into San Francisco's bye. However, beat writer Cam Inman did point out that this seems like it's just part of the process, and to watch if he takes off this jersey Wednesday or Thursday, that would be a clear step to him being healthy for Sunday. But if he doesn't play, DeJuan Harris? Am I selling you on DeJuan Harris at all in a good spot?
I got to be honest, though. Like, I know it is a good spot, but 17 for 39, a touchdown, 2.3 yards a carry. And then look at Sean Drawn. Like, he's not much better.
Couple catches, maybe.
But other than if Hyde starts, definitely. The other two, sorry, Garian, I'm going to take a pass.
Yeah, and I would
even
say
though it's a great matchup.
It is a great matchup, and I would say that unlike where I was talking about Ladarius Green, and I'd have to see it, the injuries kind of scaring me off a little bit. If Carlos Hyde is playing, if he's active in this game, I'm tossing him out there. I don't need to. I'll take the risk on this one because the matchup is just too good.
And the point we brought up with 49ers running backs yesterday, so you have these guys with basically 39 and 71 yards, yet Colin Kaepernick in the 2 games has rushed for 75 yards a game apiece.
Yeah.
He has 150. So no offense, he's gonna take the rock. So no other 49ers running backs but Carlos Hyde for me and Mr. G.
I would definitely agree with that. They're going to run a lot of read option in that
Yes.
contest against the Saints. When we come back on Hot Roster today, Cam and I will break down another Hot Roster Today card available to you this weekend for Week 9 of the NFL season.